Okay, let's get started then. Hi, everyone. I think we're a smaller group here. Thank you so much for joining my talk. And amongst all of these amazing talks and sessions that are going on today, it is quite a jam-packed schedule, and I'm really honored that you joined me here. I can see that we have some community managers, designers, experts with people, so I can tell that we're in the right group here as well. So, hi. That is a good place to start. My name is Adam B. Cochrane. Yes, my initials are ABC, and I was born on Friday the 13th, believe it or not. But I am a senior product designer at Zalando. So Zalando is Europe's leading online and retail fashion store, I would say. And we have, I don't know, lots and lots of people. But in my product design team, we have about 160 designers altogether. I understand that there is people from all different backgrounds here. This talk will be a little bit on the intersect of design, but also community management, dealing with people, both how we build products and how we make products. But that's a little bit more about myself. So to get started, what I would like to talk about. So one thing as a designer, and I think for anyone that creates products, creates business, or works with other people might understand is that it can be a little bit of a conflict at times between what we want to do, functioning, this functional responsibilities that we have in our role, dealing with people and getting things to happen. And within design, we also really like to develop products that, of course, people can use, or we want to build startups and projects that people find useful and use in their daily lives. One thing that can often happen, and what I found in my career, is that I really love being a designer, but it can often feel a little bit amiss and a little bit misaligned between the impact that I want to have for my customers, the places and the people that I want to work with, and also what I'm actually doing in the real world. So whether it be filling in Excel spreadsheets or dealing with the bureaucracy sometimes gets a little bit lost. And sometimes we can lose that human side of work. So to make the story a little bit more personal, I would like to tell you about how I grew up. So I grew up quite religious, and I'm not here to bash religion or faith in any shape or regard, but I personally grew up in a heavy Pentecostal church that was borderline cultish. But growing up religious gave me this experience of a really deep connection and belonging as a young person, with a lot of family, a lot of mentors, a lot of great role models, and a lot of people that really left me feeling valued, celebrated, and also developed. So that was through those years. And I really loved that time of my life as well. I look upon it with great fondness with the people that I was able to connect with. And what I realized a little bit was that what made this so valuable for me and so connected and so I guess a time of acknowledgement for me as well was the rituals that created that. So it wasn't just the Sunday sing along and the worship sessions. It was also the youth camp, which was one of my favorite yearly events. This place where you could get away from your normal day-to-day life, from school, from everything that happened there, and join with people that were like-minded, that celebrated each other, that were really supportive. And there was lots of fun things to do, people to connect with in that way. But also what I liked during the week-to-week was also the small group sessions, but again, having these people that I was able to connect with, even the smallest rituals of saying grace, being thankful for the food we were about to eat, or even just connecting on a weekly basis with the greeters or the people in the little cafe that was at the church. And all of these rituals kind of helped me to get a part of it, feel belonging. They were repeatable, simple, and fun. And that was something that really connected me to this community. So that experience growing up, it kind of lives in parallel with where I am today as a designer. In product design, and probably you in your many different roles as well, realize that there are also rituals that we partake in daily. So whether it be a onboarding experience when you welcome someone into your community, whether it be a new colleague or even someone into your community of a client or anything like this, that onboarding experience can also be similar and parallel to this welcome experience of joining a new community. But even the coffee chats or the stand-ups that we might have, But even now and today in the conferences, I also run and facilitate a lot of workshops. So there's a lot of these rituals that are repeatable on a daily basis. And I saw the parallel here between what I had experienced growing up and the rituals that we have today. And I wanted to take a deeper look at. I was a little bit perplexed a little bit that they became very much automated, or they became a little bit dehumanized. But what I am here to talk to you about today is how ritual design and thinking about the rituals we have in our communities, in our jobs and in our work, both for ourselves, but also for the people that we work with, and also the people that we create products and services for. So maybe I skipped it a little bit, but I want to reflect on what actually is a ritual. So you might be thinking, well, isn't ritual the same as a habit or a routine or a checklist or, simple things to do? And I would say it is that. It's easily repeatable actions, which you would find in these habits and routines, but it's also combined with things of intent. So doing it for a purpose, being embedded with meaning. So it has to have some sort of higher purpose that it connects to, and kind of goes beyond this functional commitment here. And the powers of rituals also is able to turn these really small functional things into greater, more broad and serious things. And we see this also through different religious experiences, but also different rituals and traditions that we might have as people. So, if you're a flight service, and maybe you're thinking of that it's just traveling from A to B, something in the mobility field, but you might be able to think, okay, could this be a pilgrimage? Could this be a journey that takes people from one place to another, both also physically, but also mentally, and maybe like with that deeper meaning? Can it turn food, something like HelloFresh or a catering or restaurant? Can it turn it into something significant like Thanksgiving, where there's these rituals and traditions there? Can it turn something simple, like for us, Zalando is a delivery service as well. We deliver clothes, but can it be something more where we can embolden and embed ceremony and some sort of response or celebration there as well? I want to give you a couple of examples now as well of rituals that I've experienced that kind of leverage this and kind of are great examples to draw upon. So as a product designer, I was working in a design agency. And one of the amazing things is that they turn this birthday ritual that I'm sure everyone's experienced, whether it be that you collect signatures or everyone stands up for a little bit of cake, grabs their coffee and tries to grab a piece without, committing too much, or whether it be everyone chips in a bit of money. This company took a different approach because their values were to celebrate the individual, to continuously learn, update themselves, and also to look at that synergetic knowledge that was generated. So what would happen is the office manager would invite you when it's coming close to your birthday to select a book. This book you would get a copy of for your birthday. So it was pretty transparent what book you would get for your birthday. No surprises there. But what was amazing as well is that they would buy a second copy for the library in the office. And why they did that is because when it was your birthday and there was the next all hands meeting, they would actually get you to stand up and explain to the rest of the community why you're interested in this book, what knowledge you want to gain from this book, and why other people should read it. So it was a moment of acknowledgement and of celebration, and also to help kind of live up to that higher value of bringing everyone's knowledge and synergy together. But of course, it's not just about internal rituals that I'm talking. It's also about rituals that we might have within the products and services that we're creating. And one great example here is I used to work for Factory Berlin, which is a community of 3,000, 4,000 people now in Berlin for innovators, startup people and tech folk. And I would say one of the great rituals that we embedded there is that when people joined our community, the ritual was that we would get them to fill out a form. So it wasn't just curated on price in terms of, can you afford a place to work here? Can you afford one of our really expensive programs? No, we didn't want any of that. We thought that people and their ideas should be valued for their purpose. And so what people would have to do is that they would tell us why they want to join this community, what they want to get out of it, and who they would like to connect with. And then once they were accepted into the community, what we would do is we would celebrate that. We would be like, yes, you're here for a purpose. Let's support you on that mission. And then we would also help them by connecting them with people that were like-minded so that they would find a place again, within our community that would really resonate and draw them to their goals. So I've worked on a lot of rituals. I've also looked at a lot of rituals within our own company and with our own job family here at Zalando. And I've come up with some good principles and maybe insights on what makes a good ritual, or makes a ritual stick, let's say. And I've hinted towards a few of them already, but I would like to go through 3 good insights that, really kind of came to the front when we were trying to do this for ourselves, and when I've tried to do this with other companies as well. So the first one I would like to kind of highlight here is that good rituals acknowledge the human and the person behind them. So they really are a moment of celebration. They're a moment of, bringing, talking about the big things and the little things, but this empathy that comes along when you acknowledge someone in a ritual. And for us at Zalando, whether it be a birthday celebration or whether it be just buying people socks, something that people enjoy, that acknowledge and that show that they're there. But you can also see this within the community side and also within the product development side. And here's 2 great examples of that. So if you're using Asana, you've probably seen the unicorn fly across your screen every now and again. That moment of acknowledgement of doing something, of having achieved something, is a really special little ritual that they've embedded into their product. And also, if you're using MailChimp, you probably remember the high fives as there, which was always a great moment for me as well. I put a lot of effort into this email. I'm really stressed that it might not work out. And then here's a high five to say, wow, oh, I did it. It's done. I finished this. It's sent. It's going to be okay. And so this reward and crediting the user or your customer is also really important when you're building these rituals. So the second principle I have is that good rituals connect. So not only do they acknowledge, but they also connect. So what we found within our community is that people and designers wanted to network and bond, and they also wanted to get to know people beyond the, this is XYZ person who is this skill, or this is XYZ person who is this skill. They also wanted to know a little bit more about them. That helps generate an easier work. And there was also a lot of books written about this, of high-performing teams where they develop these inner jokes and new ways of talking and communicating with each other. And this is a really great thing that rituals can bring. So good rituals connect here. We also have this within our product job family as well, and designers, where they can connect on a weekly or monthly basis with each other to see what else is going on. That we also look to also connect people within the celebrations and parties as well on that level. But of course, it doesn't just have to be internally. It can also be within the community and the product and service that you create. So another example here is that, within Reddit, you have these AMAs, you have lots of rituals and communities that connect with each other. This could be something that your product and service also does for their users. And one great example that is so often overlooked is if you own something that is your passion, that is your hobby, whether it be a Porsche or a Harley Davidson, there's normally some communities that they support. And this is where people can celebrate that like-mindedness and connect with each other as customers of celebrating this relationship that they have to your product and service. So don't forget that it's not just internally, it's also connecting customers with each other and with you as the service provider. So another one is and the last one here is good rituals develop. So they acknowledge the person, they connect them with other people as a community, or connect them with themselves even, but they also develop. So there was what we found in our research, and what I found talking through rituals, is that the ones that are really sticky help take people from where they are now to something that they would like to develop, whether that be social connections or skills, or this continuous learning or feeling of inspiration to go a little bit beyond. And here we have this, of course, in our here's actually a photo in the same shirt, I love it, of myself with my mentor going through some work. So that's actually a really good thing. But we also have, planks or some exercises, some fitness there, so it can help us develop physically. Of course, these are very transparent and blatant rituals there, but good things to reflect upon if you have that in your community as well. And again, we can see this in the product side, in the service side. Headspace is a really great one. If you think of like 7-minute or health apps, Nike Run Base, and all of these kind of services help you both develop physically, like do something so you can take a meditation, but they also help you adopt to this better mindfulness state, which is also really important. So how does your product and service through its rituals help your customers or the people within your community actually develop here? And the last one that I really want to just put out there right now is a bit of a bonus. I know that the questions that might come at the end of this will be, yeah, but like, how do you really make it stick? And this is something that I get it. I have this kind of community, but what would work for us? And the question is, I wouldn't know. You would be the best person to see here as well. And what's really important to highlight here is to do what works. Don't be afraid to let go of your rituals or kill your rituals or iterate on your rituals to find what works with your community. I actually even just got an email from the community manager, who is also a good friend of mine, about this and about asking for what rituals would you like in your community? What rituals are you appreciating right now? What's working for you? What isn't? So be reflective and do what works for your community. The difference between someone who buys Android or someone who buys iPhone, they would have very different communities, different feelings of community, different rituals that would help celebrate that community as well. So here's a wrap up. You can take a screenshot here, acknowledge them, connect them, develop them, but then also think about it and do what works. There is no silver bullet. There is no one ritual fits everywhere. And we also see that in our lives as well. Okay, I'm going to take a second and change a bit of my tone a little bit, because when I also reflect upon my journey from growing up religious to where I am today, I think it's really important to reflect and be conscious. And this is the big takeaway that I have for you today, that it's about your consciousness of rituals. Are you aware of them is the big question that I would like you to think about when leaving this talk. Because what I found is when I stepped back from my religious community and when I stepped back out of church and out of this, I really felt that the rituals that had so easily validated me, left me and gave me a lot of attention, that acknowledged me, that connected me, were the same rituals that pushed me really quickly out of my community. So I was either in or I was out, and there was no flexibility or gray area. So rituals are a great tool, but please use them responsibly. And I think we have a role as designers, as product people, as community managers to do that as well. So if you have a ritual, and one example just to drill it a little bit home is, if you have a ritual that is the Friday night drinks, and that's the only time where you can connect with your fellow colleagues, you might have to reflect upon your rituals. I love Friday night beers, and I always look forward to the end of the week to celebrate. But if this is your only ritual that helps you connect with other ones, you might be pushing people out of your community that you really want in. So this diversity and inclusion factor comes here. So if you think about people that don't drink for whatever reason, parents that might be left out, maybe they can't, maybe they don't work around your office or they don't work in the same location. These communities of people, or these people might feel like they're being pushed out of your company, out of your community, out of enjoying your product or service. And they might not feel like they belong anymore. And this is a really implicit way that we tell others if they're able to be included into our community. So I don't want to leave you there. If you're thinking about, rituals, yes, I really need to think about them. I really want to look at them. How do I get started, Adam? What should I do? I would like to offer you some templates here, and I'm going to upload my slides a little bit later as well, or you can do it in the Q&A. But we just created this simple template that you can steal. And here you can just go through what is the ritual, who is the ritual for, who is it not for, thinking about that inclusivity, which principles of our community does it embody, and then also what higher meaning or symbolic intent or ceremony do we want to make in here. So one of our values for the company that we want to embed into this ritual. How will we go about doing this? What is the step-by-step action plan? And how will we know if or when it happens as well? So is it a triggered event? Is it a weekly ritual in that kind of way? So I'm going to leave you there. That's all for me right now. Thank you so much for joining this little talk of mine, and I really hope that you are inspired by rituals. If you are, here are some books that I really strongly recommend to dive a little bit deeper. Great work by Kozak, Margaret, and Glenn, who are done who have written books about rituals for work and rituals for virtual meetings. I know everyone might be stuck in their, glass box at home. And there is also some other ones in terms of the rituals roadmap and art of community that also draw and connect this rituals with community building as well. If you're more interested in the religious side or the spiritual side or the traditional side, where rituals come, why they work for people, then I would really encourage you to watch Ellen de Botton from School of Life about his talk on Atheism 2.0. This really helped push me in the direction of doing this talk as well. So that's it for me. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this talk. And if you would like to talk a little bit further, you can join me in the Q&A, in the 2D Q&A, and I will be in the Q&A room. Just look out for Adam BC. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. That's all from me. Yay! There's always a little bit of a missing at the end, but thank you so much. I really do appreciate the feedback.